I want to say welcome to those who are here and who will be joining in as time goes on, because I think it's so important for us to really have a conversation. As I stated before in many of my presentations, we find ourselves in a unique time. It's at a time that we cannot just use technology. We must think about the future of the technology. We must participate in shaping it. And what do I mean? We have to be active participants of what's happening. Too often I hear individuals saying, I do not want to know more about technology. And too many times I realize that people want to know more, but the information is not there. This morning I had a walk. I'm walking with a senior citizen. She's roughly 70 years old. Can't do the movement as I can. As I went around, I asked her if she knew about ChatGPT. And I said I wanted to show you something. So as we walked around, because I didn't want her to hit any object while going around and showing her my little phone, I stopped at my home, and that was roughly 6:25. I pulled out my phone and I said to her, you realize that that pool is not finished yet? And she said, yes. I said, let us write a letter to the HOA. I pulled out my phone, and on my phone I said, let us think about 3 things that we want to tell the HOA. Put on my app, put in my AI stuff, and I said, all right, anything else? She said, yes, let's talk about the children who did not have the capacity to enjoy the summer because of the lack of that swimming pool. And we put that point in. And when we pressed send, she was given a letter that she could not understand. She started to ask me about plagiarism. She started to ask me about so many things in that little conversation. And the moment she was about to walk away, I had to ensure that she had the ability to connect to that app. So what I'm saying, as we walk the journey of technology, we have to embrace it. It's a journey that we must understand. And tonight, I'm not alone on this journey. Everyone here is on the journey. And joining me today, I would say, is my dear friend, Kevin. And of course, I'm going to ask him to introduce himself at some point. And I would call him my brother. We met back in 2011. And over the time, we have grown stronger. Then there's Nancy, a colleague of mine. She's not just only a colleague, she's a dear friend, a critical friend. And I always say to Nancy, you remember the day when you looked at me on my first day when I said something? And she would say, yeah, I remember. She doesn't remember what she said, but what she said allowed me to understand the construct of the organization. And my third guest, which I will introduce with you at a short period of time, will surprise you as I will reveal our paths cross. And of course, as we go through the session, I want us to engage in such a way that we'll learn from the process, ask questions, and I want it to be an interactive session. So Kevin, introduce yourself. Nancy, introduce yourself, and then we'll get the ball rolling.
Sure, Nancy, you could go first.
Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Nancy Swenson. I'm an instructional designer at the Center for Distributed Learning, and Rohan is a colleague of mine, and I'm very happy to be here. Thank you. I'll be monitoring the chat this evening, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask me, and I can send them on to Rohan and Kevin.
Yes, hi, Kevin Ramsbach. I am attached to the Global Campus, formerly the Open Campus at the University of the West Indies, and currently acting head of our online programs delivery department. My substantial role is manager of learner support, which is essentially the person responsible for online learning technologies. AI is one of those things that we've piloted in the last summer period here, and I'm really excited to talk about it. Rowan and I we have been friends for how many years, Rowan? It's since 2011.
Yes,
it seems longer than that. Yes. It seems longer than that. But Rowan and I we've been through thick and thin. We've shared ideas. Been through many different journeys. So this is just another one of our journeys together. So glad to be here.
Thank you, Kevin. And I still miss those barbecue Fridays where we would have all this.
Dale is in the room. Dale could tell you that the barbecue still smells.
I wish I had some other Friday. Yeah, so thank you so much, colleagues. Thank you. But instead of underscoring the whole issue of what he was trying to do, I want to say to the Caribbean people tonight that it is now or never, because we cannot allow artificial intelligence to leave us. it is significant for us to jump on board and to articulate how we're going to position the Caribbean within the context. It's not going to be a divisive sort of framework. We have to collectively merge our resources or policies, ask CARICOM nations to join in and to increase the movement towards artificial intelligence. The ad hoc approach will not work. So as we go through tonight, we want to think about productive ways that we can employ within the Caribbean and to ensure that the Caribbean is not left behind. I've been doing sessions in Africa online, sessions across the United States, and wherever you go, people are talking about artificial intelligence. Yes, some people fear it. While I might not touch on the fear as it relates to that tonight, I will touch on some aspects and then present to you a possible framework, a framework that the Caribbean must adapt to. All right? So it's now or never, and I mean it, it's now or never. Get on the AI train or ship before you're left behind and have to trail another 10 years as it relates to setting up your infrastructure within that context. So I want to go, and we've done our introduction. We want to define a few concepts. I want to do a show and tell. And then I want to go into allowing Kevin to talk about the content development at University of the West Indies Open Campus now. And then we'll go into a panel discussion where everyone here will participate. And then I'll talk about lifespan education or lifespan ed, and then we'll do a conclusion. All right? But to start off, I want to say that to start off, we need to understand what artificial intelligence is. So let us use this recording to really explain what it is. I need to get rid of this box. Okay. All right. Let us hear what it says.
For us to go further in the course, I would like to define artificial intelligence. Please listen carefully as you will be asked to answer a few questions at the end of this session. Artificial intelligence, often abbreviated as AI, is an exciting field of study and innovation focusing on creating machines and software that can think and learn like humans. It combines computer science, mathematics, and studying how we behave and assign tasks that typically require human performance. So we can say that AI is the creation of machines and software to act like humans. I hope you can remember. If not, feel free to replay the video.
All right. So in the chat section, how do you feel about this video? It's presented by an artificial method. How do you rate this video? Is it impressive? What are your thoughts? When did you realize it was not a real person, but an avatar? Any feedback? Well, as you're thinking about that, I want to say to you that there's technology out there that will allow that. This is one of the few culturally sound avatar that I've decided to use based on what's happening. It's very difficult to find culturally diverse avatars and images to use in teaching and learning. Predominantly, remember, the big editors and, of course, the publishers do control many of this. Did we get any response in the box at any time? Anyone responded to that? If not, I'll move on.
Sharon wrote new from the beginning.
Pardon? Oh, Sharon knew from the beginning. I think Sharon would have
From
known.
the beginning. And Angela wrote, she did not sound quite human, but no doubt one day she will.
And I'm saying that I believe that because yesterday I was watching a motorcycle game, and I'm saying this is not humanly possible for this biker to be navigating like that. When I realized it was just a game. So it even caught me off guard for roughly maybe 30 seconds. Now, let me talk about language, because we need to understand what language models are. Whatever you see as it relates to AI and technology, it's using a set of data. Now, modern large language models are pre-trained data sets that can perform various tasks, including language translation, summarization, coding. And I want to say that when we think about language models, we are thinking about complex patterns that they can do, such as sentences, paragraphs, documents, structures. And let me also say, as these libraries of information are produced, they are fine-tuned. And of course, they're fine-tuned and built within certain parameters. So individuals will have to do their questions within that. Notwithstanding, let us not forget that there are some people around now who can navigate around these parameters. So we have to be very careful. So the power of this is really in the language. And I want to take you further because we need to understand the concept of what's happening. The reality is that language has shaped our education system. Without language, we wouldn't have an education system. Language has helped us advance our culture and safeguard our society. Language has created laws, and of course, we know that. Language has also been a key part in keeping our cultural and historical value. So when I heard the first thing that AI was able now to speak in the dialect of Patois in Jamaica, it sent shockwaves through Jamaica because many people thought, how dare AI now, operated by OpenAI, can now write in Patois. I remember the other day I did an experiment when I asked the AI to write a story in the Jamaican context of the boy who cried wolf. And instead of using the word wolf, you substitute the word cow. And of course, it's on my YouTube channel. The AI did it in the dialect. I didn't ask for the dialect, and it gave me the dialect. You know, it said once upon a time, a little boy named Peter was walking up, and it went on. I was blown away by that. But if we look carefully, we have to understand if that is possible with language. We are using language to develop things, and I'll show you some points. But we must understand that the landscape of language will also be used to exploit humans and create biases, addictions, manipulations based on algorithms, and of course, it will shape our society. So that is why I'm saying to you and us tonight, it is now or never. It's now or never that we fall on the train or be on the boat or ship, whatever you want to be on, to ensure that we have the aspect of being on the AI train. But most of all, I want to bring to you, before I move to the next slide, the issue of language, because language creates human relationships. Language allows us to fall in love. It allows us to quarrel sometimes, misunderstanding. But if we decide that we're going to allow our language to be dominated by systems that are not controlled by conscience and that sort of thing, we are in a serious problem. So as I show you some of these things tonight, and I'm going to show and tell some of these things, just remember that we have to be ethically aware of some of the issues, all right? So I want to ask a question, and it's an interactive one. How is AI shaping our lives today in the Caribbean or in the United States? Put some answers in the chat box. Let's have a little conversation. How is AI shaping our lives? Let's hear.
Sharon said it's being used as memes to send stickers and also messages. As memes send stickers and messages.
Yes, good. It's used to do that. Any other response? We're using AI in our lives. Whether we like it or not, we are. And as we go forward, we're going to be more involved. That smartwatch that you have on your hand, that mobile phone that you have, it's tracking you, whether we like it or not. And it's sending information and it's feeding into our database and telling our preferences. So we do have that coming our way. Now, I wanted to introduce you and ask the question, how many of you have used ChatGPT before? Let us see those hands in the box. How many of you? Anyone else has been using ChatGPT? Easier workload, I saw that response. I have. Well, to be honest, I have been saying to someone almost daily, good, I love that. I love that. Because if you have said to my friends here and there, if you're not using ChatGPT at this point in time, you're going to be left behind. Is that too much of a strong statement to me? Yeah, it's, yeah.
Especially for persons who are in education, for persons who work online, no matter how old you are or how young you are, like me at 64, I've had to embrace it. And
Yes.
experiment with it and that kind of a thing, because I really don't want to be left.
Yes, you don't want to be left behind. I must share this with you, Sharon. The other day, someone gave me a task, and I'm saying to myself, you could have done the task yourself. But I don't know if it was my position or what, but they did ask me to do that. So you know what I did? I put that task on the person by asking AI to convert that activity, that statement, into a task-oriented matrix that would allow that person to do his or her role. And it came back with a nice, wonderful overview, which the person loved and now had to fill out the form. So, so what I'm saying is, it's exceptionally when I love that, because they wanted to slow down time by saying, I don't have the time, so you must be quick about what you have to do. But it wasn't really me. It was their task. But I want to show you that it's all about the prompt. And I say it's all about the prompt in what you're doing. Since everyone has been using ChatGPT and other forms, I want to say it's all about the prompt. If I say to you, or ChatGPT, for example, to write a letter saying I'm going to be late at work, it will write you that letter, but it will have no context. You have to put the context in whatever you do. Context is everything. Yesterday, someone asked me to just play around with ChatGPT, and they said they wanted a letter regarding an institution. And I said, but what do you want it for? What is the advancement? And I got 4 critical prompts. You cannot write a response in ChatGPT without having these critical response. As Sharon said, it must be specific with instructions, because if you don't, you will get the whole garbage dump in your letter. You don't want that. Another thing is, people think they can just use ChatGPT to navigate everything, and it's not like that. If you don't know what you're looking for, how can you ask what you want to find? So those critical prompts. So what I'm saying, if you are truly a person who has knowledge about your field, you're going to use those keywords, elicit what you want. Without that, it's going to be very fresh, unseasoned, and everyone will know that you didn't even make the attempt to organize your thoughts before. And that is what will come in the future, where people will look at it and evaluate critical thoughts into a prompt rather than anything else. Because right now, people are saying that they can spot an error or spot when it's all AI generated. But I'm saying to you that many of these tools are not effective. So this brings me to the point of ChatGPT, and everyone is using it. And for those who have not been using it or have used it generally, I want to show you a little prompt that I created. It has context, it has the age of the person, and it also asks for what plan I want, behavior modification plan. So let me click this one in. I'm going to put a prompt in, and I'm going to put it in, and let's see what it brings. So I've been specific, right? All right, my prompt is create a behavior modification plan for 2 weeks for John. He comes out of his seat too often and interrupts other students. John is 10. Involve his parents in the plan, because I want parental involvement. No, someone ordinary might not put parental involvement, but I want to elicit that because based on my special needs knowledge, I now know that's essential. That is essential in providing support. And here it goes. Gives the plan, 2 weeks duration, baseline data collection, strategies, seating arrangement, break time, communication, parental involvement, discussion, consistency, and data collection. Now let's discuss that. How detailed is that one? Any feedback?
Detailed, very detailed.
Very detailed, because what we have done is to ask for information. And what I'm saying is, in Jamaica, for example, I'm not saying everyone is a special needs educator, no. Teachers have so many students in their class, and sometimes to get an educational psychologist to vet a student, to get a statement, is a problem in itself. Now, if a teacher say, all right, you know what? I want to find some generalized responses that I can use for John, who is in my class, has counting problems and is unable to remember that number. what approach can I use, and gives a critical prompt in setting that sort of atmosphere that they want to go, it will produce something that the teacher can use. So teachers can use it for so many purposes. And you can use it for your letter writing, to complain to others, for parental guidance. And there's so many things, but you have to remember the critical prompts. Without that, you're going to be clueless. So everyone has been using it, but I want to go a bit further, because I think one of the most powerful things I've been using around is, all right, so that was the one that I had, right? So all I wanted to do was to have a nice picture. So therefore, I used it to create a story, because what happens is here is that you could build a story and it would be a collection of our perspectives. I could say, once upon a time, I came upon this mystical house in the forest located in Trinidad. Then someone could make another sentence. What we'll be doing is just creating our own sort of story using our experiences. And that's what a language model is at this point in time, in context of that. All right, so I want to go to another one, because I think I need to have ample time for a discussion. So let me take it over. And we spoke about Midjourney. Here it is, all my collections of pictures that I've just used in Discord. You have to get a Discord account for this one, but these are my pictures. All of them I've created. This one is really a video that I'm going to be doing, the Scramble for Africa. This is an AI course picture that I've designed. This was some pictures that I designed of last night to just go with some slides. And here I am using AI to produce a lot of stuff. I wanted pictures regarding Black families having fun, which was also very scarce to get. Now I can have them by just writing a sentence. I have so many pictures here that I use AI, get things out, so there are many. I can build my stories I want to build, but just by using pictures. So you have to have Discord, take out an open AI account, and then you should be able to access. This is a picture of a funeral. I was doing a video on that one. So what I'm saying is, it is just crazy based on what you can achieve. These 3 pictures here got me in trouble, because my friend from England asked, his wife said to him, why didn't he tell her that I got a new house? And I had to explain to him, to tell his wife that it was AI generated. I'm still a pauper, can't afford to see. So, so there it is. It's just wonderful, Sharon. Remember when you were trying to develop content to the Caribbean and you had problems? No. Yes, no. This one, it fascinates me, right? Because this is a prompt. This prompt is totally wrong. I wanted a picture of boys jumping in the river from the river's edge or riverbank, right? So the AI suspected that I wanted them that high, but that is not possible. That did not represent Jamaica's culture, because they would be jumping from the riverbank into the water. Not like that. That's like a ninja, right? So what I'm saying is, within the prompts, you have so many things. So what I'm saying, it's endless. It's just ongoing. The pictures that can be generated, historical pictures you can get, because I wanted a village in Africa back in a certain age era, and it was able to produce this. This, Kevin, you should know where this is, because it was generated with you in mind and your people. You know where that is?
Of course. Yeah, of course. I know that, yes.
So where that is?
That's Morocco's Biran. And that's Richard's in the back there.
All right. So you know what? That picture was generated. And of course, I wanted to take myself back to Trinidad. So Caroline and Kevin, I was back in Trinidad doing dancing, having fun and everything. And it was all AI generated. Friends, what I'm saying is, we have to embrace the technology to move the Caribbean further and to ensure that we are able to advance. This was younger me, but people say it's not really me. So I don't know. So what I'm saying at this point is, there's so much that we can do. We can allow students to be motivated by these pictures, motivated by the content that we produce. However, we have to set a framework for it. I want to go further now, because I really don't want time to be passing me. So I'm going to show you another one, which I think this one got me big time. And let me go to...
Before you go any further on, and put in the chat for us the name of the AI that produced the pictures.
Yes, I'm going to ask one of my colleagues. Caroline, you could give her the Discord site as well as the the Midjourney locator if that's possible. If not, we'll send it to you. All right, no worries. Because we want to share those resources at the end too. All right, so I'm going to refresh this because I think it needs to be refreshed. So it might be taking a little time. Slow, Curly and I we worked on it, but this is actually the most forceful form of technology I've seen that combines everything. It's not there yet, as Curly will tell you, but it just got me thinking about the future. Now I have done roughly over 230 videos, and I wanted to think about how to produce them. And one day someone said to me, why not put them into a course or something? So I tried it. I tried to upload this video, and this video is my personal video, into a course, into this software called Knowledge. What Knowledge will do with the video will really shock you. All right? Knowledge then ingested the video and the content and created an interactive video. This video is actually interactive. I'm not going to play all of it, but I'm just going to start by showing you how interactive it is. And I want to be boring. I think we might have taken off the interactivity at some point, but this is going to be interactive video. Should not be with the ad. All right, but you could have hot spots here that you could click on. But not only did it incorporate that, what it did was to produce a transcript. Here's a transcript for the actual video. In that same package, it produced a quiz that you could answer. Remember, I have not designed the quiz. In that same package, it produced a glossary of terms. They're kind of redundant here, but that's why I'm saying it's not totally there yet. And of course, a summary. Then it also created concept cards. So a student could work through this. Then you had flashcards. And then you had drag the word across to match the information. What are your thoughts about using one video from YouTube to create an interactive video? Within that same lesson, you have a quiz, you have a transcript, you have a glossary of terms, and of course, concept cards. I'm going to leave you to tell me what are your thoughts about that.
Evan wrote, this is wonderful.
Yes.
I'm actually amazed because now I know where you, how you did this in another course that we were looking at together and you created for us.
Yes. So that is what I'm saying is we are on a road that this can be a powerful instrument. For example, you can all get a free account and the free account will give you 5 videos. So if the Caribbean teachers or people want to use it, you get 5 videos, you have a friend who has 5, you say, don't duplicate my subject, I'll do, or my content, I'll do some that's different from you. You combine, you have a class of maybe a collection of 30 teachers, just times 5. How many video collections could you have to educate people in that school? Because they give a free account. And if you can afford it, then you buy your own. So what I'm saying is the knowledge is out there for us to use. And if we can use it, we will garner greater potency for our children to understand the road ahead, because we have to really go into the apps that will give us the preferences.
Rohan, Sharon's hand is up, and we have a few more comments in the chat.
Sharon,
Yes, Sharon, you.
in all of this, and I know you know this, Kevin, it would be AI versus AI, meaning artificial intelligence versus academic integrity. In all of this, we as educators have to be aware in terms of how we use AI, and there has to be a balance.
Yeah.
That year was in a section where we're looking at what portion of this would you give the AI credit for, and what portion would you give yourself credit for, in terms of all of the the development, the quiz, the all the things that you said it produced. You came up with the idea and so on. But in terms of citation, how would that be handled? Just for
Yeah,
for-
that's a good question, because as I said, I created the video, so the video would have my content, and the content would have been referenced at the end of my video. But when it pulls it in, so I'm taking ownership of the content, right? Because I did the research. But if you were to pull someone else's content in, that might be a different thing. And I think as people produce stuff, it's going to become common thought that you will put that it was AI generated along with input of your intelligence. You understand what I'm saying? Because you can't separate AI intelligence from the actual human intelligence, because one is derived from the other, of course. But within that context, that's why we have to document our processes to understand, in my case, that it's not totally generated, but started from a point. So very good point, Sharon. And that's what people are struggling with wherever you go. All right. So yes, so that's a positive way forward to think about it. But the last tool, I'm wondering what you're going to say, Sharon, and the others regarding this, because this is what they call a magic tool. Magic school, it's called. So let's see what magic tool or school talks about. Tool. Now, here it is. For all those teachers across the Caribbean who are actively involved in planning lesson plan, the time for planning is still here, but you are able to get it much easier, right? I remember when I had to write my 5 lesson plan for one session the following day, as I did my teaching practice, and I had to have different grades, so I had to put in different, although I'm teaching the same grade level, I had to make sure it was distinct for that student population. I can see now we can really master the plan where we can have AI. All right, so I'm going to take you on a critical pathway where we're going to look, and yes, this is also available. You can have your communication here. You can write to parents. It tells you about lesson planning. It can give you a joke. It can talk about different subjects. It's based in America, so you're going to have to make some adjustments when you're using it. But let us look at the lesson plan.
Rowan, before you start, we have a question in the chat. Does the software that you were showing allow editing of the quizzes?
What? No, it won't. But what it has done recently, Nancy, there was an update which allowed you now to enhance the actual transcript. So you could go back and edit that transcript and put things that you want to be generated in the quiz for it to pull from that. Am I right on that, Caroline? I think we're right on that, right? Yes, I think yes. So you'd have to go back and edit from the actual to transcript. So what it does, let me tell you, colleagues, when it pulls that transcript in, it will say, do you want to edit the transcript? My suggestion, always edit the transcript, because when we did it straight off the transcript, there were more errors in the quiz. There's more than you can think of. All right. So by doing that, it allows that to go much smoother and your questions will be better. All right. But as I would say to you, this concept is developing. It's not there yet. And I want to say that in another few months, it will be better. All right. So here is it now. I'm going to do the other one, Magic School. Let us see what Magic School can do. And I'm not going to be able to play around with all of these tonight, to be honest, because I want to share some other things and allow Kevin to have his talk too. So give me a moment as I put this in. Okay. So therefore, 1960s. I just put in a prompt here that I wanted the Magic to write a lesson plan on, and let's see where it goes here with the standards and everything. Grade 7, make it grade 8. I think it was grade 8. All right, let's see where it goes now. So if someone was teaching, if it is allowed in Florida to teach about the civil rights era, and they wanted to do that, the civil rights movement, this would be produced, and it would also connect to national standards. All right. So what I'm saying is the extensive time that people spend planning now, you can go back and get some materials that you can use. There are mathematics standards that you can use. There are standards for English language. There are standards for sciences. And this site keeps updating every single day. I don't follow it because I'm not in the K-12, but I'm sharing that information with you and the Caribbean, because I think it's a way forward for really fast tracking ideas and seeing how people are doing it. So therefore, for example, this talks about guided practice. It talks about independent practices. It talks about extension activities, homework, and set the standards. I think if the Caribbean had something like this, for example, CXC, they've asked me to give a recent talk to them sometime in September, had something like this, what a wonderful place it would be for the subjects that are being taught. So every child across the Caribbean could have access to this sort of information, and teachers could teach within the scale and frame necessary for students to meet the standards. So my thing to you is try it at this point in time. All right. So therefore, how do you like that one? Let me get some feedback. What are your thoughts?
Somebody said before, work smarter, not harder.
I love
Work smarter, not harder. And of course, I always encourage persons to go to make edits as you underscore.
Yes.
Sometimes what I find, especially with ChatGPT, some of the information is not always correct.
That's so true.
You have to go through to ensure the accuracy of the content.
All right. So the last one I want to show is just my site. I've produced over, as you can see, over 200. Some videos are hidden, over 200 and odd videos as it relates to technology, inclusion, navigating higher education principles as it relates to AI. So I want to move to the slides now. So I'm going to go over so we can make our transition. And at this point, we'll make our transition and move forward into our question and over to Kevin. I'd like to introduce officially Lifespan Ed. It's a learning space that Caroline and myself, we have decided to go and build. We have a commitment to online education to empower the diaspora. And that's why we're starting this website. We have several free courses that's on offer at this point in time. And we want to educate, because I think education is about also emancipating the mind to ensure that individuals understand what is required. So we have built these courses and we intend to release some of them coming September. Some will be very affordable and others will be free, because I think that is our mantra, to ensure that we share the knowledge that we have gained over a period of time. And so there are some things that we have been doing. So we're going to be developing, and I'm happy to form this alliance with someone who's committed to higher education and also the sharing of knowledge. So as it is released, since you are in attendance, you will get the official information regarding the opening of the course or courses. All right, there we have Nurturing the Child in the Age of AI, and that's a powerful course. It ends with practically parents or carers or whoever you are making a pledge that you will support the AI protection for children and advocate for the advancement to be done in a meaningful way. All right, and the AI Explorer course will be available free again. We offered that. Over 150 people turned up. Of course, 20 graduated, not graduated, but received a certificate of participation. There's also going to be financial wellness courses for our population. All right.